It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. We know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 374. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe.
Hello.
Hello. So we are back from Oklahoma.
We are. Yes.
Where the wind comes sweeping down the plain. That was a lot of driving.
It was a lot of driving.
It's like a 7.5 hour drive. So we drove there, dropped them off, and then basically the next day turned around and drove right back. But we broke that up and stopped like at the halfway point and crashed, and then, which I think is, I don't know, I'm on the fence.
I am too. Because like the whole week it's like been difficult trying to like work and do stuff in between. Like we were driving and trying to do work and then trying to like podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm just exhausted. Like it feels like it should still, like if my body feels like this is Monday,
right,
maybe Tuesday, but in reality it's Wednesday. So yikes.
Yeah. But he is off at college. Take two.
Off. Yeah, take two.
So this one was a real college, unlike the last one. So
yeah.
We already feel better about it. I think he does too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And there's definitely some special shout outs to some people who talked us off the ledge back last year when all this went down.
And I won't even say talked us off the ledge as much as like they were there to be like, you're not crazy.
That was talking me off a ledge.
This isn't how professionals comport themselves.
I needed to hear that. So
yeah.
For me, that was truly walking me off an edge, talking me off an edge. So yeah, glad all that is, and we'll talk more about it over in the bonus episode, I'm sure.
For sure. So we will also talk about Cody potentially throwing some shade at Robin.
Yes,
we'll talk about that over on the Patreon as well.
And Dennis's new haircut gate.
And what that might portend.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what, pray tell, will we be discussing here?
We will be discussing, well, first of all, we have our interview with author Amanda McKinney.
Yes.
And I'm super excited about this. This was a really fun conversation. What a nice woman. And her books are fabulous, too. Yeah. Also, we are going to be talking about the new partnership that Peloton just inked with Google. We are going to be talking about what's coming up with the earnings call next week and the Peloton employee who surprised everyone by winning gold and how he wrapped up his week.
Yeah.
New challenges and how to make those work for you. We also have some information for the instructors, like what's going on with the instructors. We also have an artist series to update everyone, a bunch of content, a bunch of birthdays because it's August.
It is August.
So lots and lots going on.
Well, before we get to all that shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That is super helpful.
It is super helpful. Is it too late to say that we're also having a visit from Dr. Jenn?
Yes.
Okay.
So don't say that.
I'm sorry.
Whatever you do, don't tell people that Dr. Jenn will be on the show with advice on how to cope with the scheduling changes at Peloton. Do not tell people that.
Also, you can hear Dr. Jenn call me a rigid bitch.
That is also true.
Yes.
So you'll get to find out why Crystal is a rigid bitch. Unless, of course, you're a Crystal hater. If you're hate listening, you already know.
And you don't think it's funny like me and Dr. Jenn.
Yeah. So you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. You can find us over on Patreon. It's a super helpful way to support the show. It's only $5 a month. You get ad-free episodes. You get bonus episodes. You get early access to episodes. If we get it early, you get it early, and you get our undying love and appreciation. And you can watch these on YouTube if you are so inclined, and you can also sign up for our newsletter where you'll get all the links and things that we're talking about sent directly to your inbox once a week, mostly. And you can do that over at our website, theclipout.com. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
Peloton inked a partnership with Google Fitbit this week.
They did, yeah.
Well, that seems like a big deal.
I mean, yeah, no, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I always find what resonates with people interesting.
Right.
So first of all, we have the problem that no one actually reads articles. They just read headlines. Like that's
For
the whole
sure.
world, not
Yeah.
anybody specific.
I get a free Fitbit with my Peloton now?
Pretty much.
Will it just show up in the mail?
Well, the thing is that some people interpret this to mean that now it will start syncing with Fitbit, which is incredibly old news since it has for years. So no, it's not that. What it is that they are giving content to Google Fitbit premium members.
Okay.
So if you have a premium account with Fitbit, then you are able to access Peloton classes. And there's going to be similar to what they're doing with Lululemon. They're going to be providing this content on a rotational, like they'll keep getting
Okay.
new classes. Now, the other thing is that even if you're not a premium Fitbit user, you can still access a limited selection of Peloton classes.
A little teaser.
Exactly.
Okay.
I also thought it was interesting that, so this is all going to start at the beginning of September, so we're not there yet. So if you're
Okay.
not seeing it, that's why. But I think that it's cool because you get to open it up right on your device, like on your Fitbit device.
Okay.
So you also will be able to get those classes if you're in the US, the UK, Canada, and Australia. So all those.
Okay.
Now, I did think that the little disclaimer at the end was fascinating because it said Fitbit Premium requires a Google account, a Fitbit mobile account, compatible Android or iOS device, and internet connection. Content and features are subject to change, not available in all countries, may vary by device, and may be in English only.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
So am I misunderstanding, as I am prone to do, but this sounds like if you're already a Fitbit user who has a Peloton membership, there's nothing really there for you. It's more of if you have a Fitbit and you don't have a Peloton membership, you have some access to things and they're hoping you'll like it so much you'll become a Peloton member.
It's the second one.
Okay.
But also, in addition to that, if you have a Fitbit and a Peloton, it also means you can now access classes on your device, which you couldn't before.
Okay. But
So-
only the select ones. If you have a full membership, does it open everything up to you or just the select
It
classes?
sounds, it says that content will roll out incrementally. So you do not get everything.
Okay.
You get, but you do get a whole bunch of different modalities: strength, Pilates, running, boxing, cycling, and bar. So there's 10 modalities, but you're not getting every single class that Peloton has ever created.
Gotcha.
So yes and no. There's also going to be special offers in the store for Google Pixel Watch and Fitbit Charge 6 devices. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think teaming up with Google is ever really a bad thing.
I would agree.
It seems like that extends your brand even further.
No, I totally agree with that. I think, yet again, if the goal is to try to have as many people using Peloton as
Right.
possible, this is how you do it.
For sure.
These partnerships are how you do it.
You got to be in all the places.
Yeah. And to the guy who said a partnership is if you get it for free,
Yeah.
that's not a partnership. That's you getting something for
That's
free.
just giving things away.
Yeah.
And for the people who want Peloton to be profitable, giving things away is not the way to do that.
Yeah, that's kind of-
I demand Peloton be profitable and to give me things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
some things never change.
Yeah. It's an interesting business model. If you figure out a way to make it work, let us know. You
Agreed.
can email us at don'tgiveashit@gmail.com. Peloton has set their next earnings call. Do they
They
still get to
have.
call them that?
Zing! Yeah, they're still earning money. They are
Okay.
still earning. So yes, it will be next Thursday on the 22nd at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So
we
yeah.
will be at Podcast Movement.
Yeah.
So we are not sure how we will be absorbing that information. And by we, of course, I mean you.
Yeah. Yeah. I always have to listen to these. Yeah. I know that one of our helper bees Tina is definitely planning on covering it and writing an article. Will we have time to record a special thing? I don't know.
Yes.
I do not know.
We shall see.
TBD.
We talked last week about Nick Mead, Peloton employee, who won a gold medal, and he was then named to be one of the closing ceremony flag bearers.
Yes.
He was dressed up in a little costume.
No, bearer.
A little furry costume. He had cute little ears.
No, but it's funny you
He
say
had a
that.
pot of honey.
It's funny you say that, though, because he did say, I got to get a haircut before the ceremony. He was like, I got to look my best. So he did go get a haircut. So he was less furry, not more furry.
I'm fascinated by the idea of going to the Olympics was not important enough to necessitate a haircut.
Maybe it's his lucky haircut.
But he's like, well, I guess if I'm going to be in the closing ceremonies,
He did say it jokingly. Like
how do I say great clips in French?
A little bit of backstory on Nick is that he was a member of the men's 4 rowing team. He played a pivotal role in securing the U.S. first gold medal in this event since 1960's game in Rome. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Also, he was with teammates Justin Best, Michael Gracie, and Liam Corrigan. And his journey began after a near miss at the Tokyo 2021 Olympics, where they finished just shy of the podium in the men's 8. So hopefully you got to see that because the Olympics are over.
Yes.
If not, I would be shocked if this were not on his Insta. It should be.
I don't know how it couldn't be.
I agree.
If getting a haircut in Paris doesn't make your Instagram, I don't know what would.
I meant the ring.
Oh,
The ring bear. I wanted to say the ring bear because you said the bear, and that made me think of How I Met Your Mother and the ring bear.
the flag ceremony.
The flag ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would probably make the cut too.
I think it will.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but, and for those of you asking, we would love to have Nick Mead on the show. Will Peloton allow it? That's a whole different question.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Over at theclipout.com, we had an article this week about how to really fully maximize the challenges. I hear, as someone who is too lazy to use Peloton, right? Mm-hmm. And I've been talking about Peloton weekly for 7.5 years. Mm-hmm. When you guys talk about challenges, I have zero clue how any of that works.
It's okay.
None whatsoever.
I got you.
I just kind of go to a different place in my head while you're talking.
I mean, honestly, Tom, I think we both know that's most of the time when I'm talking.
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But Helper Bee Elizabeth wrote this article, and it was all her idea because she was talking about the fact that like there's so many people that start doing Peloton and they're not immediately sucked in to the whole consumable thing that we love. And it's like, why is that? And what can we do to help those people? There's a lot of people that don't know that these groups exist. There's a lot of people that don't know that there's challenges. There's a lot of people that don't know they have so much support available. So she wanted to kind of write a little bit of a guide to help people know how to get started, where to get started, what pitfalls to look for, or more importantly, what to look for in a good group that's going to support you. And whether that group is on Facebook and it's a Facebook group or it's an Instagram page that you're following, an Instagram account, there's a lot of different ways to follow challenges. So this article lays it all out. And if there's somebody new to Peloton, or maybe you have been doing Peloton, but you don't know all these things, this would be a great article for you to read.
Absolutely. Peloton has a special offer for New York City Marathon runners.
Yeah, I saw this in my little New York Roadrunners.
Since you are one.
I'm a member.
Yes.
So Peloton is offering a special deal, and it's during Members Week, and August 12th through August 20th. So you need to act fast if you're listening to this on Friday or after. It might be already over. But anyway, so you get $250 off of a Peloton Tread and $350 off of a Tread Plus by using NYRR Love 250 or NYRR Love 350.
Ooh, just type in like 950. See if that works.
I have a feeling it does not.
Oh, you don't think it's... No.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
I know you are.
I'm trying to help you out.
I appreciate that.
Not you, because please, we don't need another Tread.
I love my Tread.
Yes.
So no need.
We're stocked up on Treads.
We are. We are indeed.
We are getting a new tonal, though.
Yeah. We are.
We'll tell that story
over
on the Patreon.
Yeah.
We are getting a new tonal.
So now we got to talk on the Patreon. We got to talk about our new tonal and Brian. Okay, got it.
If you like the Lulu members weekends at PSNY, another one is in your future coming up in September.
Yeah, it's going to be, it looks like it's going to be the 19th based on everything that's coming out, because they're also saying that new classes are going to land the 19th. It'll be September. Registration is going to open in August, and they still are not telling you like exactly how you can be invited, exactly how you can be involved. So you definitely need to be on this list. That's the first thing. And by this list, I mean that makes you get this email.
Right.
So you can sign up for free for that. You need to start there. Also, you can get to their classes on the Lulu app. You can also get it on the Peloton app anytime. So hopefully we will hear more about that. I know there's a lot of mixed reviews. Most people loved it, but there were definitely some side eye at the last one. So I know.
Not side eye.
I know. So we'll. So for those of you looking at the schedule and you see that like, hey, there's a weekend in September that I can't get classes for, that's why.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Coming up after this, we're going to talk to Dr. Jenn. She is going to call Crystal a bitch. You will find out why. So stick around.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr.
Joining
Jenn.
us once again via the magic of ZoomTube is Dr. Jenn Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. You may know her from VH1's Couples Therapy with Dr. Jenn, or VH1's Family Therapy with Dr. Jenn, or her long-running radio show, The Dr. Jenn Show. She's written 4 best-selling books, including The Relationship Fix, Dr. Jenn's 6-Step Guide to Improving Communication, Connection, and Intimacy. It's Dr. Jenn. Hello.
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 All right, another question for the week. This one comes from Jessica Sanford. She is struggling with all of the schedule changes that Peloton has recently instituted. Specifically, she is not sure how to handle this full day of on-demand classes that will be happening every Wednesday. She's really struggling with that. So she would like your thoughts on how to recalibrate that.
And I've read a little bit about this on the Clip Out, of course.
Thank you.
And just so that I understand and that other people who haven't seen this. So they're now doing 1 day a week. There are no live classes.
And the U.S. studio, it's 1 day a week. It's on Wednesdays. And in the U.K. studio, it's Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Because of the metric system.
It's nothing to do with the metric system.
And do we know why this is happening?
They are saying
The
that
metric system. That.
they are saying that it is to develop new content. So that is one reason. I suspect that part of it is because they are starting to show things like barbells and benches, and I think we're going to be seeing more heavy training of weightlifting, like more heavy lifting type of training, which I'm personally excited about. There is
that would be awesome,
right? There is also a camp of people that feel that this is a cost-cutting measure. Tom and I feel that is probably not very much of the case, just because how much money are you really saving by doing that? Yeah. So we don't think that's as much, but there is definitely a segment of the and I don't know where Jessica's lands, so she could be thinking that too, to be fair. Sure. And so I think those are the two major kind of thought processes behind that.
And it sounds like that Jessica is someone who takes a lot of live classes.
Yes. And I wouldn't say she's an OG. She might be. I just don't remember that for a fact. But I know she's definitely been in the community for a very long time. So probably back whenever I joined, she's probably like 2016, 2017. So it's been a while for sure.
Yeah. You know, when my kids were little, I had this book, and I don't remember what it was called, and I wish I could remember the title because it's such a good book. I'd like to plug it, but it was about this little girl, and she is supposed to have a class party, and she gets sick and isn't able to go to the class party. And they say to her, like, oh, that's terrible. You can't go to the class party. And she said, maybe. We'll see. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. And it's from like an old Buddhist fable. And then what ends up happening is the kids at the party end up getting food poisoning. They get really sick. And they say, wow, that's really great that you didn't go to that party. Like, that's a terrific thing. How awesome. And she's like, maybe we'll see. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And like, it goes on, like a kid breaks his leg and, you know, and then like, maybe it is, so, but the long and the short of it is that sometimes something that seems really bad ends up being a blessing and vice versa. And so to me, this is an opportunity for her to say like, okay, I've been led by these live classes. I have made my schedule around these live classes. I have taken these live classes. And yes, there's an excitement about live classes and the high fives and the energy. Absolutely. But there's also, you're a little bit shackled to the schedule that's created by other people. So to me, this is an opportunity to say like, you know what, there are a ton of classes that I didn't take because I've been so focused on live classes for all of these years. So to me, this is a really terrific opportunity to start to kind of go through what classes have I not taken from my favorite instructors? What instructors have I not taken? What instructors maybe don't do a lot of live classes, so I haven't been as exposed to them. So to me, this is one of those opportunities to shake things up. And as you know, I'm a big believer when it comes to your workout, it is always good to shake things up, to get out of a rut, to take different instructors, to take different classes, to try different things. Right now, I'm doing like a very dramatically different, I'm like on week 1 of a super dramatically different exercise plan.
Oh.
And actually I owe partly this to you guys because you had that great interview.
Oh, Stacy Sims.
With Stacy Sims about how as you get older, you need to be lifting heavier and you need to be doing more intense kind of HIIT workout and train harder on the endurance and then go kind of slower on the like lower endurance part. So I'm really shaking things up. So I'm trying to practice what I preach, but I really want to encourage her to not be so tied to those live classes. There are just too many amazing classes that are not live, and to limit yourself when there is a catalog of just, I mean, you would know better than me. How many thousands of classes are there?
Thousands and thousands. I mean, I think they're around 8,000 to 10,000 classes. I mean, because they always are deleting stuff too, so they like to keep it around a static number. But man, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. And so to me, the answer to this is to really embrace this change and to say, you know what? I'm going to look at this as an opportunity to not be tied to this schedule and to try new things and to really shake things up and to try some classes that I haven't tried before and really to try to enjoy it and to not look at this as a negative.
What a great point. I mean, I haven't followed live classes in years just because the schedule has just changed so dramatically. But when I used to, I loved it. And I really enjoyed doing all the live classes. But I kind of felt like there comes a time where it's like, okay, if you want to have an optimal workout, you can't do what's on the schedule. You have to do what works for you. And exactly. I just started making those changes and I didn't even think about it from the vantage point you're saying, but that's exactly what I did is stop thinking about it like I have to take it at this time and think about what class is best for me in my training. So,
and
okay, let me step in
like
here.
You said it allows you to get more well-rounded.
That was not as easy of a transition as she just retconned
it is looking back. It is. Tom.
Look.
She struggled. I had to say it to a lot. I'm like, what do you care? Take the class you want to take. Like, what do you care if it's actually happening in that moment?
I come from a long line of rigid bitches, at least 3 or 4 generations that I know of.
Did you just call me a rigid bitch?
I am a rigid bitch. You may not claim the title. I claim the title. I worked very hard to be less of a rigid bitch, but
that seems to be working for the whole clan, though.
That's true.
The whole clan.
Man,
seems to be.
If rigid bitch equals massive success, I will take it.
Yeah. There can be some overlap for sure, but sometimes we rigid bitches, and I'm just speaking for me and my long history, my family history of rigid bitches.
They get shit done.
But sometimes we can be like, this is the way we do things, and we don't vary from this. But that part of it is not good. And it's really important to be like, you know what? I'm going to be a flexible bitch for a while.
Well, that can be fun
Instead
too.
of being a rigid bitch, I'm going to be a little more of a flexible bitch.
Yeah.
So
That can be.
I encourage that.
That can be enjoyable.
Wow. Okay. Well, that went differently than I expected.
And look, I respect that you were able to make that change, even if it wasn't as smooth as Tom would have liked it to be. You still made the change.
That's
and I bet you
right.
learned and you grew from it, you know?
Yeah.
And look, I'm not a live class person. The only time I take a live class is if I have a milestone. And by the way, my last milestone, I made a mistake and I took an outdoor walk class thinking it wouldn't count as a walk class. And I was coming up on I think it was like my 500th or 600th walk class.
I'm so sorry.
I erased my class so that I could get a shout out in John Hoskins' class. And I did not get the shout out.
I'm sorry.
I think actually it was 400 and he only went down to 500. No one under 500 got a shout out. And I was like, damn, I erased that class for nothing. Yeah,
You still did the walk.
It was brutal.
You still did the walk.
I still did the walk. And as a rigid bitch, I had to flow with it and accept it and let go of it.
You became a flexible bitch that day.
Exactly. I was like, I'm feeling rigid bitch vibes, but I'm going to grieve my loss. I'm going to move on. And then I'm going to be a flexible bitch.
I love it.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, thank you so much for all of that. And until next time, where can people find you?
You can find this rigid bitch on social media at Dr. Jenn Man. 2 ends on Jen, 2 ends on man.
2 ends on rigid, 2 ends on. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Instructors in the news.
Jermain Johnson is now a father.
He is. Huge congrats to the new family. Well, they were already a family. The new addition to their
Yes.
family.
I know I struggled with how, because I don't want to say had a baby.
I know.
Because he didn't have the baby.
Right.
Collectively, they had the baby, but he didn't do the pushing.
He did not.
Well, not at the end.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm sorry. I thought you knew how it worked.
I was caught off guard. I did not have
it
my
has
Tom
been almost
filter.
18 years since you had a baby.
Oh. Yes. Well, Jermain's new son is named Raymond Ray
Yes.
David Johnson. And just an adorable little baby. Jermain did say that there were some complications. It was not the easiest birth. And I'm sure when he's ready, he'll talk more about that, or his wife, his partner, will talk more about that if it's appropriate. But definitely sounds like they had a rough couple of days.
Gotcha.
Baby was in NICU. Mom had to stay at the hospital. Mom and dad had to go home without the baby. You know, that's scary.
Yeah.
That's so scary. It's
For
so
sure.
hard. But he also talked about how amazing and inspirational it was for all the other parents in the NICU and how strong they were, which gave them strength, which it's really cool to like point that out to people because that's not easy. There's some sad things that happen in NICUs.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'll just leave it at that. But
if they call the kid by his initials, everyone will think it's Robert Downey Jr. Because that's what they call Robert. They call him RDJ.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Why do you? Never mind.
Because it's nerd stuff.
Right.
You know exactly why
Yeah,
I know that.
That's why I stopped. Yeah, my bad.
Sofi Tukker has a new music video, and it features Rebecca Kennedy and Hannah Corbin.
Yes, they are both in it for a split second. Don't blink, you will miss it. But they're in it. They're
Longer than wearing it.
longer than a lot of people are in it. That's really fun. They look like they were having a great time. And of course, how exciting to be part of a music video. Very cool. And they are definitely Peloton advocates for Sofi Tukker. You know, they have played her songs. It's been part of the music that they've done for a long time. So I think it's really cool that they were invited to be part of that. That's cool.
Absolutely. Do we know anything about how that came to fruition?
No.
Just a video came out and people were like, hey,
Yeah.
I recognize those two. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it probably exists out there somewhere. Did I find it? No. it's been a little busy.
That is true.
I did not have time to comb through Rebecca Kennedy and Hannah Corbin's. I know. I'm a disappointment. I'm sorry.
Cody Rigsby is celebrating 10 years with Peloton. That's almost a decade.
It's just a decade.
Almost.
How is it almost?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, he is here, and our article that we wrote kind of goes back through some of his highlights through Peloton, starting all the way back with Cody brought the very first Pride ride to Peloton, and it also featured DJ John Michael back in 2015. It's just kind of fun to think about how long he's been doing things that like are so part of our memories, our vocabulary. We don't even think twice about it.
It's hard to imagine that there was a time when it wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, you can't forget whenever Cody was on Dancing with the Stars, like that was a huge deal. And I mean, he's just done a lot of different things. And so, of course, we highlighted some of those within the article. But I can't believe it's been 10 years. And this whole year, we've been celebrating the earliest instructors that were part of Peloton. And it still gets me. I can't believe it's been a decade.
I know.
It's crazy.
Coming up after this, we're going to talk about the latest artist series and who they're spotlighting this week and give you the TCO top 5. So stick around.
Peloton artist collaborations.
The latest artist series features Imagine Dragons, which is nice because I've heard of them, which means I can pronounce it.
Yes. Chapel Roan. I was told
we
that.
know now. But it's spelled like Dave Chappelle.
It is. Like, I don't think it's crazy that we thought it was Chappelle.
I would agree, but of course, I'm the one who got it wrong. So, of course, I agree with the reason why I got it wrong.
Who got the message?
Well, yeah, that's how that always works.
Exactly.
That's why it's so much fun for me to get things wrong.
I got to say, I really appreciate when people say things so nicely.
Yes.
And this one was very nice.
It was very nice. They were,
So I don't even mind.
I think because they also understood why we would think it was Chappelle.
Yeah.
She's probably been getting that her whole life.
Yeah, that could be. But Imagine Dragons, I have heard of them as well. I enjoyed the music of the Imagine Dragons.
Imaging Dragons.
And 9 different classes. So there's going to be rides. There's going to be upper body strength. There's going to be flows. There's going to be run, and there's going to be rows. So all the different things that you can do, which is great. It's very exciting. What?
You sound it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like, should we even be covering these anymore? I'm just doing some due diligence here on the show. Yeah, let's give us a vote. I just feel like, I don't know. It used to be a big deal because they had all those artist things, and now it's like now they're just weekly.
Yeah, which is great that they're constantly
adding.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. I do. But yeah.
But it also is it's like clockwork now.
Yes.
And so, but I guess, not everybody has a chance to check out everything. That's why we're here.
Yes.
Just because we know it doesn't mean they know it.
Well, that's true.
So there is that.
New content.
It is time for the TCO Top 5, where you tell us your favorite classes and then we share it with everyone else so they can broaden their horizons.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, the favorite new program is number 1 this week, and it is Set the Bar program with Ali and Hannah Corbin. And this dropped on August 4th, and Anne Michelle 83 said she's loving this program after finishing week 1. She said it consists of 3 classes a week that it focuses on upper body, lower body, and core. And the classes vary, with some even using weights and some giving the option of resistance bands. One of the classes includes both instructors together during this first week. Mm-hmm. And it's 4 weeks long, 12 unique classes, and you have to take the classes in order to unlock the subsequent classes. So,
ooh, it's like a little Nintendo game.
Yeah, they do that with all the little programs. You have to unlock a class before you can go to the next class, which people have very mixed feelings about.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, I get if you're already adept at bar and you're like, well, this one is meant, but I want to do this one. Like, I get that you're just like, that could be irritating.
Yeah.
But
and then it's like, that's why they put some of them over in the collection so you can just take them. But then the collections are so long, you have to just like scroll and scroll and scroll. There's no order to it.
Right.
So there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah, I get that. Number 2 is your favorite strength class, which I thought I know this is going to sound dumb.
Uh-oh.
You guys, you've said raising the bar. In my head, it was like a barbell. I thought it was one of their strength classes. I think bar is probably technically classified under strength.
It is.
So I don't mean to take away that as a strength, but I was hearing it as like a weightlifting thing.
Got
and
you.
just now when I saw it spelled out, I was like, yeah, that probably makes more sense.
It is classified under strength, though. You are correct.
It's the new Hidden Hills.
He learns something new every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while. One day I'll figure out how challenges work. So favorite strength class is where we were at.
Okay, so 731, this class was launched. It was a 10-minute standing core class taught by Rebecca Kennedy, and Tiffany Cortez loved it. She said it was unique because Rebecca used a heavy weight instead of a medium or lightweight like usual, and it was all slow and heavy, so you could really feel your core working. So this could be a great way for you to work your core differently. Mm-hmm. Also, I just want to add that I'm hearing this from a lot of people, so I wanted to point it out that Rebecca's classes in the past sometimes have had complex or dancey moves, and they have started to evolve into this like heavier weight, straightforward, and people are loving it because it's very basic and it's like more pure strength. And so I'm just saying, I hope she keeps going in that direction because it's getting a lot of amazing feedback.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Number 3, your favorite ride.
Okay, so this was on August 10th, and it was a 30-minute 80s ride that was taught by Dennis Morton. So there's lots of discussion about Dennis. We're going to talk more about that over in the Patreon episode. But Jenny, we're going to call her Jenny K. She nominated this class, praising the music and the workout itself. She said it begins and ends with George Michael songs. Well, that is amazing. It's a really great playlist if you love 80s music, and it's a sneaky workout too. It doesn't seem that hard. Next thing you know, you're sweating.
Okay. Number 4, your favorite outdoor walk.
Okay, taught by Maddie Majacomo. This also dropped on 8/1. It was a 30-minute summer celebration walk. I took this class. I can tell you right now, it was really good. Maddie was in pure form. It was amazing. This is the perfect class to get the last little bit of summer in before things start to cool off.
Gotcha.
That's just me. I'm projecting fall. But Don Rudy took this class and he said it had perfect music, and Maddie's commentary is always fun. It was perfect for a walk with his dog.
Awesome. And then finally, your unstackable.
Okay, so I think this might be Ben Aldis's first time in the unstackable column.
Okay.
He taught a 45 classic rock ride on July 28th, and Dave Stimber suggested this class. Now, he said... this one, he said, "Holy cow, please welcome London's second Big Ben. What the hell just happened? Multiple intervals at 80 resistance. Is Ben working through something? Great ride, great music, but unstackable. Please tell my wife it's Ben Aldis's fault. I won't be able to cut the lawn or do any house chores." I love that one.
Well, I guess now let's pivot and take a look at this week at Peloton. We'll start with, you got a 60-minute advanced bike boot camp.
Yeah, you never know. This might end up being over on the Unstackable next week. Yeah. So Jess Sims is teaching this class on August 13th, and it is going to be on the bike. So it's going to be, because it's a bike boot camp. So... But people love the bike boot camps, and it's been a little bit since we've had a 60-minute over there. So that's awesome.
We also have a 60-minute endurance row.
Yeah, 60 minutes of rowing. That is brutal.
Yeah.
August 15th, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Alex K is teaching this, and it's going to be a great way to work on your endurance. So definitely want to check that out. I bet it's an amazing class. He is so great at telling stories. He is the perfect person for a 60-minute endurance row.
And they're just all about the 60 minutes. You get 60-minute intervals run.
Yeah, Bex is going to be doing that one on August 17th. I will probably be taking that this weekend. There's also going to be a walk and run, and that is going to be with Mariana on Saturday. Knowing me, I'll probably just stack them both up together and do both.
You got lots of running to do.
I do. We have reached that time. There's also a 60-minute intermediate total strength, and this one is with Andy. It's going to hit all the major muscle groups. And, I think this goes back to people asking for longer form classes, and they dropped a bunch of them this week, which is great.
They also dropped some new collections for
They
people.
did. Yeah, this was really fun. They pulled up all of a bunch of classes from Cody and made it into 10 years of Cody. So apparently this is just a thing they're going to do now for each
cool.
instructor. And I
Yeah.
love that. The only issue I have with it, and it's minor, but like they literally have one that's like the greatest of all time, right? But the oldest class is only 2019. And that just kind of bugs me because they've deleted all those classes.
Yeah,
and
it would be really cool to bring out some really old
like,
ones.
This is the time to do
Right,
that. Like if
for
you're going
sure.
to have 10 years of an instructor, that's the perfect
Then
time
go
to do
back
that.
longer than 5 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, see, I want to see little baby Cody when he
Yeah.
first got on the bike. Like, I want to see the whole evolution. That would be perfect.
For sure. I
It
think
also
people would get a real kick out of that.
Me too. And it also scares me. Like, do they not exist anywhere?
Right. Did
you guys not keep them? That scares me. But anyway, really cool new collection. So I hope people check that out.
John Foley took them all when he left. He's like,
They were his masters.
putting this in my... putting them in his briefcase and walking out.
Oh, there's also a new summer break collection for German speaking. They have all those the summer break classes, and they put those on the collection as well. So
Awesome. Jess King has also added Sweat Steady to walks on the tread.
walking, yes. I know people love the Sweat Steady, so
Yeah.
that'll be good.
That is out there for you as well.
Absolutely.
In case you missed it.
If you like your Dreamblend, we got good news for you.
It's back.
It's back in stock.
I have a special place in my heart for the Dreamblend because this is what they sent me after I got hit by a car. And my hoodie that I wear like everywhere when we go on any trip.
Yeah.
It's always my Peloton, also Dreamblend.
Gotcha.
So the Dreamblend is real cozy. I love it. Highly recommend. Don't get hit by a car though.
Yes. Do not. That 1 star.
Yeah, 1 star. I'd say 0 stars.
Peloton birthdays.
Like you said at the top of the show, it's August, which means tons of birthdays. So first one up on your list this week is Nicole Meline on August 17th.
Now, for people who are newer to Peloton, they may not recognize that name.
Even the not so new people might not recognize. I mean, that's
Boy,
been a
it's
long
been
time.
a long time. It's been 6 years.
She left like right after you got your bike.
Yeah. It's probably been 6 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you've had your Peloton for a long time, you may not recognize that name, but she was a much beloved instructor who left back in 2017 so maybe it's 2016. But anyway, okay, now I just can't. I need to remember. I think it was 2016. Anyway, we wish her a happy birthday.
Absolutely. Kirsten Ferguson on August 19th.
Happy birthday to Kirsten.
Jill Foley on August 20th.
Happy birthday to Jill.
And Clip Out Crystal also on August 20th.
Whoop, whoop. My birthday is so blah this year. we're just going to be at a conference.
At Podcast Movement. We had fun last time, though.
We did. I don't want to have that much fun.
I want to have 3/4 of that much fun.
3/4 I can do, but
Okay.
4 I was next to a toilet, so I don't want to go to 4/4.
No, we do not. Coming up after this, we have your interview of the week. We're going to talk to author Amanda McKinney. We had a great time talking to her, so we hope you join us. Stick around.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Amanda McKinney. Hey, Amanda, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
We're good. So happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever listened to the podcast, so you may not know this, but I always start with trying to understand how people originally came to the Peloton community. Like, what brought you here, and when was that in your journey?
Okay, so I'm relatively new to Peloton. I got my first Peloton or the bike 2 years ago. So I've been familiar with Peloton since they came out. I remember during lockdown, COVID, I think Peloton exploded. I don't know the sales and stuff, but that's when, I feel like everybody knew what Peloton was. But something kind of interesting about me, a little fun fact, is that I have something that the cool kids call hype aversion. And so like anything that has this crazy cult following or is like instantly popular, I run the other way. I don't know what it is. I'm that way with technology. I was that way with getting my first ebook. I did paper books. So Peloton.
She's still using a BlackBerry.
I still have my BlackBerry, but I have that's crazy you just said that, because I have a funny story. In college, I was the only person in my friend group, anywhere I knew, that still carried a beeper. A beeper on my thing. And that was...
But in your defense, you were a drug dealer.
Exactly, of course, naturally, right?
You were slinging that rock. I mean, yeah.
Oh my God. Do you remember the 90s when you would like spell out messages to people who had a beeper and you would do the numbers and you had to write it all down?
But for me, that wasn't the 90s. That was the early 2000s. I was spelling out messages on my beeper. And in fairness, it wasn't, cell phones were kind of new-ish. Like it was like the rich kids had them. But, you know, I had my beeper. And so anyway, so it's so funny you said that about a BlackBerry.
That's hilarious.
All I ever spelt on the beeper was boobs.
that tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks, Tom.
It never worked.
No?
No, they never showed up.
You didn't have boobs on dial, speed dial?
No. I'm like, maybe one day.
Maybe.
Manifesting boobs on the beeper.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's why I'm a boob.
Okay, so moving along, how did you
what got you over the hump?
Yeah, and also, like, have you always been a person who's worked out in some way, or are you like a person? See, I'm not a person who is fit my entire life. Like, I've had spurts of it here and there, but it wasn't until I found Peloton that it really stuck. So I'm also curious about that for you.
Okay, so well, yes is the short answer. I've always been into fitness and working out. Really ever since high school. I remember just kind of in my free time, even going to the gym in high school. It's something that I was always into. But back then, it was for my ego. It was for nothing other than to look good. I wanted to be skinny and fit. And then it wasn't until the beeper age, probably early 20s, college, when I started realizing that these crazy feelings I was having inside, all this weird stuff, was an anxiety disorder. And that is when I completely reframed how I looked at working out. It became more a mental health remedy as opposed to a physical remedy to be skinny. So that's when my exercising and all that took a completely different level.
Okay. And so then you found Peloton during the pandemic, I assume, and it's a big assumption, that you got the bike. Was that your foray into Peloton?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's the only thing I have. I can't wait. I've got my eye on the row. I cannot, but boy, that's not cheap. The row's not cheap. It's not cheap at all.
None of the Peloton equipment is cheep.
Except for the guide.
Yeah, the guide. You can get a guide for $95. Other than that, it's all
$3 for a quarter.
But yes, so I have the bike.
Okay. And so you mentioned when we were chatting before we started recording that you felt like Peloton had changed your life. Tell us more about that.
Oh my gosh. So, it completely has. And this is where I'm probably going to get a little bit creepy fangirl on Robin Arzon, because she is my go-to instructor. And she has had, first of all, let me just say, with Peloton, one thing that I love the most is that it's guided workouts. So that's cool anyway. But then you throw in the motivational speak from the instructors, and that is a complete game changer. That is where, when I can't remember how many rides I had, how many rides in I was when I first kind of hit a real motivational ride, where they really, and you've got the endorphins flowing, and it's just, and there was a moment in probably the first few weeks where I had just a total cry, an ugly cry, but a good release, like, again, you've got the endorphins flowing, and then the instructors are telling you and just hitting you in the heart with all these, such motivational speak. And that's when I realized, okay, this is something that is not only, again, for mental health, but physical health. And that's when I really, I ride my Peloton every single day. And it has changed my life in that the motivational speak that they give uplifts me and keeps me going throughout the day. It's a whole therapy session right there in the corner of your bedroom in a little footprint, in 20 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. It's incredible. They're really, I can see why they've got this cult following. I mean, I'm officially in the cult. I can say that.
We all are. It's a healthy cult though, right? That's what
absolutely. Yeah. It's the best cult to be in.
It's like Hell Bop. They even have their own shoes.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, and funny, when I got my first bike, I guess I didn't do my research and I didn't get the shoes. So that should be, that should just come with them. So I did my first few bikes, like scraping the skin off my shin every time the shoe would come off the pedal. So the shoes are a necessity.
Oh, that sounds painful. But you said your first bike. So did you get did you start with a regular bike and get a bike plus, or you said?
Nope. I still have the good old first bike or whatever. I don't think I have I don't think, is the bike plus the one where the screen turns and stuff? Yeah, no, I've got the first model.
Okay. Gotcha. And when you say like Peloton is like a therapy for you, do you take different classes or different instructors based on what your mood is?
That's a good question. So the classes I take on Peloton is the cycling classes. That's what hooked me in. And then about a year ago, I started doing the strength classes. And I know they have meditation. I've got my eyes on that and whatever else, but I stick with the cycling classes and the strength classes. And I've been doing the strength a lot more lately, and that's been wonderful. But in terms of kind of what flows with my mental health, the thing with me is I have to have that hard cardio. So like meditation is good for me to relax in the evening. But when I wake up in the morning and you've got, your hormones are waking up, you've got the cortisol, and somebody who is just really prone to anxiety like I am, having that burst of cardio, the burst of adrenalines, getting the sweat out, it just sets you up to have a calmer first part of the day. And then that always leads into an easier second part of the day.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So It sounds like you struggle with anxiety, and I definitely do too. It feels like when you do a big burst of cardio, at least for me, I don't mean to speak for everyone in this situation, but it feels like it kind of like takes the edge off. Like you feel kind of like, tense, and then it kind of like lets you put your shoulders down.
100%. And yes. So for me, it is so much so that if I don't work out if I don't have that hard cardio first thing in the morning, by about 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning, like clockwork, I start having, just the jitters, like cold, and then sometimes you feel like your bones. And my thoughts are a mess of jumbled half thoughts that are racing 10 miles an hour or 10 million miles an hour through my head. And so I can tell immediately, or I can tell again by 10 in the morning that I either didn't work out hard enough or if I had missed a workout, obviously. I mean, that's how much of an impact Peloton, the bike, has on me. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I've gone through multiple rounds, different drugs of antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. And since Peloton, and I'm not kidding, I know I sound like a commercial here, but since Peloton, I am off those drugs. And that's just how, And that's, I mean, of course, you couple that with health. I mean, we could talk for a long time on this, but, you couple that with diet, and then reframing your thinking, how you look at things, your outlook. So it's not just the Peloton, but the Peloton is if I didn't have Peloton, I would absolutely still be on my anti-anxiety daily medication. There's no question.
And I feel I should put a disclaimer out there that does not mean that would work for everyone.
Right.
And that, like, definitely talk to your doctor.
Right.
Like you did what was right for you, but I don't want other people to think that is just like you're saying, hey, everybody can do this.
Right.
Or that there's something wrong with them if they love Peloton and still need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Thank
And
you
I
for
know that was
is
not
what
your
works for me.
I know that was not your intent, but I just don't want anyone to
For sure.
read into things more than we intend for them to read into it.
And again, this is my little interview and this is my little story, and that's all. that's it.
I find it fascinating when you say how you've gotten into strength more lately, because like that is a story I feel like we've been hearing a lot over the last 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And more people, which I also find fascinating because most people's entry point, not everybody, but most people's entry point is through the bike.
Yep.
And strength for Peloton is completely off machine.
It is.
Right? Yeah. And so to see how many people in the ecosystem are embracing strength is fascinating.
It's their fastest growing modality.
That's interesting.
And so it is. And you know, there's so much evidence out there that women, as we age, especially need to be doing the strength training. Everybody, man or women, they do decrease their muscle as they age. So it's good for everyone. But I think women in particular are starting to become a fad again. I know like the whole fitness world goes through circles and patterns, and I feel like we're kind of back in that pattern right now. But I'm so glad to see it because it is everyone that I've talked to, everything I've ever read, it's like if you could only do one thing, if you could only do one kind of exercise to improve your health and your longevity, it is in fact strength. And that's just fascinating.
Yeah, it's funny. I just had my yearly physical with my doctor, and I'm 42. And he's into fitness. So when I go in there, we just have a great talk about fitness. And it was exactly that. To your point, it was, that now, we're above 40 now. We're still young. You're young as long as you believe you're young, you're young. But above 40, it's very important to focus on strength, exactly like you said, because it's scientifically proven we begin losing there's different parts of the muscle. He explained it to me. I could not, but this, like the specific muscle that leads to flexibility and all that, you see older people very, very stiff. And so if you start working on this in the 40s ish, it can, the hope is that it helps you live longer and be healthier. And if you have longevity of life, and the strength training is a big part of that. And something that I love about it too is it's just like the bike. So like what sold me on the bike was the footprint, right? It's like you can do it in the corner of your room. I had 2 little kids, going to the gym was no longer an option. And so with strength training, I've got my mat, I've got my free weights, and then I have a little selfie stand that I hook up my cell phone to, and right there in my bedroom. And my kids might be sleeping or they're watching Disney over me, and you get in a hell of a workout, like right there in your living room. It's perfect.
It is. Yeah, that's totally true. So how do you balance those like cardio workouts with the strength workouts?
Oh, okay. So I don't have a tight schedule. I have thought about doing that before, like on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I do this. But with kids, I find that I can't stick with that. You have a bad night with nightmares with a kid, and it's just you can't. I couldn't wake up and do a 45-minute hitting hills. So I try to do, or I do 2 hard strength training a week, sometimes 3, and then the rest is Peloton. And daily, I do movement daily.
That's a good mix.
Yeah, it is a very good mix.
That's I think pretty intense.
It is, yeah.
So what is your leaderboard name?
Oh, it's so boring. It's so boring. Again, I didn't realize that everybody had all these cool, awesome names. And I'm a writer, so I should be super creative and have the most badass name out there. Mine is McKinney Amanda. I'm a writer. I'm supposed to be creative. So
I don't know.
boring.
I would say you're a writer.
branding.
It's branding.
And that's
it's branding.
how we would file your books.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Amanda.
And then do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, like don't do that. Don't do like 8.347.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that would
Don't,
be
yeah.
That's what
I have
pictured
no
when you
idea
said
if that's
file.
even. Yeah, I don't even know if that's how they use the Dewey Decimal
I don't think
System.
they even use it anymore.
Oh, they have to.
I don't think it's
They've
the same.
been doing it too long.
I know. I don't think they do either. It's something the kids will
'Cause
never know. They will never know.
But because
Yeah.
they put the books in order on a shelf.
Yeah, but I don't think it's like it used to be. I don't think it is.
Because the books are in an order based on that. They got us.
I'm taking you to the library.
We have to have a librarian listener that can back me up. That they're
All
still
three
using
of
the
us
Dewey
are going to
Decimal
be Googling this the second this ends.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What kind of writing do you do?
So I write romance, so romantic suspense. That's where I started out, and I write thrillers now. So I've recently, I've switched genres officially. It feels a lot like starting over, and I'm learning a lot again. But so I write thrillers now, and I love it. It's great.
Well, that's really cool. So I just have to ask my inappropriate follow-up. So you started with romance, and now you're in thrillers. Is everything okay? Is everything
We're good. I'm still good.
okay?
We're good.
Just wondering. It's a fair question.
But I feel like that's kind of a progression of how I started reading books. Like when I was younger, I read a lot of like romantic books, like that. And as I keep getting older, it's like I like the thrilling, the suspense novels and like whodunits because I don't know, life is so complex and hard, and I just want something that like takes my mind off of all that.
She gets
stuff.
enough romance from me, but she still needs thrills.
Of course, Tom.
I think is what she's saying. Whereas I'm reading a book about the Beatles.
That's
Right.
Oh my God, this book is ridiculously long.
I've talked about this on the show before. I'm a famously slow reader.
Yes.
Very, very slow. I have great reading retention and comprehension, but like I am very slow. And I keep picking these insanely long books. And then like normally when you pick a book in like when you used to read real books, you could just look at it and go, oh, that's a big book, right? Like you just know when you pick it up, And but now Kindle will tell you exactly how slow you are. So it's like,
they will.
the book the book I'm reading now, you hit the little thing at the bottom and it's like, it will take you 54 hours to finish this book. And I was like, but it's by Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Like that's
So true.
honestly, whenever I see the book, like the times on the books that he's reading, I'm just like, I would just not read it. I would just be like, forget it.
We've done this. Like when I was reading, like I think like From Here to Eternity, and it was going to be like 47 hours. And she's like, oh, that's crazy. 47. And then I'm like, you open it up in your Kindle because it's all shared, and then hers, it's like 18 hours.
Yeah, it's not that different, but it is.
It's like half.
It is significantly faster.
It's like half.
But,
It's like well, I'm a slow reader too, but I do something really weird that I don't know anybody else does. So I've got my Kindle app, and then so I download the book, and then I always get the audio book with it. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the Whisper Sync. So you
can go back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm reading, but I'm listening and following along. It's so weird.
Oh, you do both at the same time. Okay.
Yes. Is that the weirdest? I'm sure there's some psychological weird thing with that. But yeah, so I'm reading and listening and following along. Is that weird? Crazy?
No, I don't think it's weird.
Funny is, so I was just in a play. I won't bore listeners with that story again. But we recorded my lines, Crystal and I did, using these very microphones. And then that's how I started with the learning is I would play it and listen to it at the same time.
It helps you like take it in. I bet that by you doing that, you have better retention because I read faster than Tom. But like if you were to say, hey, do you remember that book you read like 2 weeks ago? No, I do not. Yeah. I mean, I remember like I read it and I can remember like characters and broad strokes. But like if you were like this one part, it's gone. I have nothing. It's out of my brain. So it's not the best. My retention is not the best. So I think there's something to be said for that for sure. Yeah. I think that's really cool.
Did you ever? Yeah. I saw a thing years ago that Kindle was messing with to help people read faster, and I tried it and it worked, but it was like I could never see myself doing this, where it would flash each individual word at you.
See, I don't like that.
And you would just and it would trick your brain into reading faster, but what would happen for me is that would work for a little bit, and then it would be like I felt like if I lose focus for a split second, this train's going to keep going and I'm going to miss it. And then I start thinking, what if I do lose focus for a split second? And then I've lost focus for a split second. And now I don't know how to back up. It's like when you're going downhill on a bike and you're like, I'm going really fast. And then you're like, maybe I'm going too fast.
And then you flip over the handlebars. Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Wow, I didn't know that. I had not heard of that. I did not know that.
I think it must not have caught on. I read an article about it and they had a sample and I did it and then it never seemed like it ever rolled out.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yes.
I'm not surprised at that.
Too many people were flipping over the handlebars of their Kindle.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have a preferred instructor?
Yes. So Robin, I mean, she's, again, crazy fangirl here. I've quoted her on my Instagram page. I mean, she is doing exactly what God has intended her to do. I mean, she has a light about her, and I hope she knows how many people she helps and how she changes lives. I mean, she's there. I've never met her. I hope to one day. It'd be great. But she has a spot in my life in a very deep way. And she's just really great. Two of the things I knew you guys were going to ask it. So I was thinking, why I feel so strongly about her. There's two, she's got the quotes and one-liners like nobody's business, right? I mean, she's just knocks that out of the park. And one of them there's two that had a big impact on me. And one of them was when she said, when motivation is lacking, routine takes over. And that to me was such a mic drop moment, because we hear so much about Netflix and chill and when your body's sluggish and stuff like that. But in life, you're not always going to be motivated. You're not always going to wake up and want to do the hard things and get on the bike and do a hit in hills that's going to murder you at 6 o'clock in the morning. But we do it because, for me, I do it because I want to be the best version of myself. And again, it's the mental health thing and the physical health. And so to kind of reframe my thinking of, I might not feel motivated. Of course I don't. That's my ego talking, that's whatever talking. But when you build a routine around something that we know is good, that's when big things happen. And with both my boys, I have quoted that. I have explained to them, we might not feel like going to school today I'm big on movement with them too. So we might not feel like moving our bodies and walking around, but it's through the hard things that we grow and become the best version of ourselves. So it was such a mind shift of when you don't feel like doing something, how to fix it. You know what I mean? Make it routine, push yourself. And then the other thing that she said, and this one really got me. She said, and it's been one of her recent rides basically, but it was what we do here on the bike, right? So when we're doing these hard things and we feel like we're dying, we are callousing the mind. And that hit me so hard. Every time I've gone on the bike, I have thought of her saying that. So basically it means, of course, we know that hard shit's coming in our life, right? That is 100% guaranteed. That is a guarantee in life. Okay. So what we do on the bike in building the best version of ourselves, going through the hard things, making it to the end of the hard things and having that I did it moment, we are callousing our brain to deal with what life is going to throw at us. And for me personally, when I say life-changing, on social media, you'll see that I don't put my family out there. So my husband and my children, that's just my personal thing. But in reference to this, so within our family, we have a very serious, incurable disease, progressive disease within our family. And it's hard, and it's daily, and it's challenging, and it's been life-changing. So since the day that I heard her say that, when I get on the bike, when I am feeling so overwhelmed, in my mind, in my head, I'm hearing you are callousing your mind, you are callousing your brain so that when the inevitable happens, when the bad days really come, I can deal with it as the best version of myself, in my strongest self. And that has pushed me through so many rides. And in a world that I live in where you feel like you can't do things, there's no cure for what we're dealing with. So your hands are tied. That is something I can do. I can get on that fucking bike and push through and callous my brain so that when bad days inevitably come, I can handle it. You know what I mean? That has been, when I say life-changing and when I say I give her the biggest hug, that has been something that has just been huge for me. One of the rides.
I feel like in 30 years, your children will be talking to someone and they'll be like, my mom used to always say, and then they're going to be like, that was Robin Arzon. Your mom didn't say that.
That's funny. You're right. You're so right. And I'm going to take the credit for the quotes as long as I can because I want to be the superstar mom. That's so
absolutely
funny.
And you know what, you still are because you're the one saying that to them.
Yes,
and
you're
so
right.
It's like a lot of times the instructors say things that they've heard in other places,
right.
and so I don't think it even matters where it started. It matters where you get it matters where you hear it. And I find it fascinating how impactful that is. There's a lot of people that have been with Peloton since like the very beginning. And I feel like those that have, like Robin has changed and she's also become so visible that sometimes people lose sight of how much of an impact she's still having on people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's really fabulous to hear.
Yeah. And again, I said this, I hope she knows that. Like, I hope she knows that. When I listen to just all the things she says, I think of even people going through cancer who are riding, there's so many things that are applicable of just to dealing with the hard things in life that always happens. And, I don't know. So I only know Robin the last 2 years. So I don't know baby Robin, but, she's a light in people's lives. She really is.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Before we let you go, let everybody know where they can find you in all the places, where they can find your books if they're interested.
Absolutely.
If you have a particular title that you're pushing or you think is a good starting point, maybe throw that out for people as well.
Oh, I can definitely do that. Okay. So you can find me. I can handle that sales pitch. Yeah. You can find me on Amanda McKinney author on Instagram. And on Facebook, that's my handle. I am not active on Facebook. It's a cesspool to me. So I can handle one social media, and I've chosen Instagram. So find me on Instagram. And then you can find my books on Amazon primarily. And the latest book that I've written that it's got a good place in my heart is my thriller, A Marriage of Lies. And it's an Amazon charts bestseller, and it's a domestic psychological suspense. So if you like that kind of stuff, check it out.
That sounds like my divorce journal. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. We really appreciate it.
We do. And I will be checking that out.
Okay.
Thank you.
The Clip Out.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on the Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on all the other socials and the Peloton leaderboard. I'll be out there a lot at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, don't forget our Patreon, where you get all sorts of bonus content. You get early episodes and you get ad-free episodes. So hopefully you'll give us a shot. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep pedaling
and running.
and running.
Bye.
Clip in.